Are we live? Let me just check. Oh, we're live. Okay. Hi. I do have an intro, but I don't have an intro. I just thought I had something a little fun. So here we go. That'll work.
I would rather play with 10 people rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it. I want winners.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the J6 House. I am Josh, and I am your host of this brand new channel. We are going to talk about a lot of things come gambling and sports, mainly football and some AFL footy, college football, and NFL on this channel because that's what we love to talk about. So let's come back down here. Hello, welcome. Happy to see you all here. Yeah, I wanted people to talk to about this kind of stuff because I watch this stuff all the time, and I can't make it happen all the time. Being a dad with kids and everybody else being busy too, so I decided I'm going to do this route. And yeah, so we're going to start tonight. We're going to go over some college football, and then after college football, we're going to hit the NFL, and then we'll hit some AFL. And we might look at some lines and call it a night. But it'll be a fun, easy night tonight. We're going to have a good time. We're going to hit you with some prediction and some look ahead. You know, the stuff that doesn't matter, that doesn't ever happen anyway. So, yeah, just sit back and let's kick it. Let's minimize this. And we will pull up. We're going to start with college football because that's right around the corner. That starts this weekend. That's the first coming. All right. Now, I'm going to do my playoff prediction, and we're going to do here is my top 12 that make the playoffs. We got Indiana at 1, finishing 13-0. Notre Dame finishing 12-0. Texas at 12-1. Miami at 12-1. So these 4 teams will be the 4 teams that are going to get a bye. Then we have Oregon at 5th at 11-2. Texas Tech coming in from the Big 12 winners. They are going to get the 6th seed because they are 12-1. Ole Miss is going to lose to Texas in the SEC championship game. That's why they're 10-3, and that's why they're the 7th seed. Ohio State 10-2 misses the Big 10 championship game. Big 10 championship game is Indiana versus Oregon. Indiana clearly wins at a 13-0 record. Number 9, Georgia 10-2 misses the SEC championship game. Surprise, surprise, of my top 12, South Carolina. They were a hot team last year. I feel like a lot of people kind of fell off on them. I'm taking a chance because why not? This is fun. It's prediction season, and this is going to change, and this isn't going to be right, but we can have a little fun with it. And then number 11, LSU, Lane Kiffin. I mean, we gotta have Lane, right? So they're 11, and then Boise State are a group of 5 or group of whatever it is now, coming in at our 12 seed. So let's pull it up. Let's look at what our bracket actually looks like. So here's our first round. So 12, Boise State goes on the road to play Oregon. We got Oregon winning. Number 9 seed, Georgia, goes on the road to Ohio State. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to see this game? We got Ohio State winning. And by the way, this Boise State-Oregon game, that's a rematch from the first game for both of these teams this season. Third matchup, 11-6, will be LSU going to Texas Tech. And we have LSU winning that one. And then we have South Carolina versus Ole Miss. And we have Ole Miss coming out on top. I am a Trinidad Chambliss fan. Now, one thing I must say, because I don't like this how college football handles this. They do the home game for the first round, but then the second round of games, they start playing them all at neutral sites. So it's almost a disadvantage to the top four seeds. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you get a bye. Cool. That's awesome. That's great. But the bye hasn't really been all that great for teams recently since we've started this format. Um, so I think that we need one more round of home games because listen to these games that we could potentially have here. Oregon goes to Miami. When does that ever happen? When do the Ducks ever go to the Ducks? Never. Never. West Coast, East Coast, like all the way. Like, come on. Like, come on. Oregon by Miami, that'd be such a fun game. Ohio State at Indiana for the second time this year. Indiana beat them the first time, obviously, because Indiana undefeated at this point. But like that would be so great. LSU at Texas. I mean, Lane Kiffin going to what is it? Is that Arlington? Is that whatever? It doesn't matter. Going to Texas, playing friggin' Manning and the boy down there, who only got what did I say? What did we say? One loss, something like that at this point. SEC champ. Like, whew. And then Ole Miss going to Notre Dame. You got arguably the most exciting player in college football in Trinidad Chambliss going on the road to play Notre Dame, who is arguably the most well-rounded team in the nation this year. So I just think that just those matchups would just be the atmosphere that those home stadiums would just be electric. It makes so much sense that you should do that. It makes sense for you to send them to these neutral sites and make a lot of money off of it, but it makes a lot more sense for the fans and for the athletes and for the students of the stadium and the people that support throughout the entire season and that go to these games every single game, year in and year out, week in, week out, that they get a chance to watch a playoff game and not just be like, oh, our team got a bye, cool. No, like put it back in the stadium. You're going to make plenty of money. Everybody makes plenty of money. It's college football. Just put it back into the stadium. All right, let's get into these picks. You can see them already, so we'll get through them. Miami beats Oregon. Now, I like Oregon. Don't get me wrong. I think Oregon's got one of the best teams in the nation. Their defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the nation. Quarterback. Good. Great. We'll see. But under pressure, defensive line, up the middle, we struggle a little bit. So I think Miami, I don't think they're going to fall off too far as their pass rush, their defense. Yeah, it was elite last year and stuff, but they're going to dominate the line of scrimmage play again this season. They are easily one of the top teams as far as talent-wise, NFL draft prospects, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a hard-fought game, but I got the U winning against Oregon. Next game, Ohio State, Indiana. Like I said, it's the rematch that's already happened this season. Ohio State went to Indiana. I forget exactly what week it is, but Ohio State lost how I picked it. So I have this happening, a rematch. Well, and we all know how Ohio State fares in the playoffs. When they don't win the Big Ten, they're pretty good. They're hard to beat. So, neutral site, not at Indiana. Ohio State's going to win this game. LSU, Texas. This is going to be a fun one. I think this one this should be a really exciting game. I'm going to go with Texas. I just feel like Manning's going to, he kind of found his groove towards the end of last season. And I'm thinking that's just going to carry over this season. I don't know if he's going to win a Heisman. He might. Not too worried about that. But knowing the Mannings, they like winning. They like winning. They don't necessarily care about individual rewards and all that kind of stuff. They want to win. And so if he's anything like Peyton or Eli, then he's going to care about winning. And so he's going to do whatever he needs to do to win. So I'm picking Texas to get to the semifinals um, again, but first time with the 12-team format. Then we got Ole Miss at Notre Dame. Um, I feel like people might look at this and be like, "Oh, Notre Dame should," but like, don't be too quick to dismiss Ole Miss. Semifinals last year, Trinidad Chambers, arguably the best player in the nation, depending on how you watch the game and what you value. But I think that he has a lot of potential, and he's got a lot of things that you can potential that you can work with. I almost use potential again. Potential is such a dirty, dirty word. Uh, but I think he's the way he played last year in the playoff. It's hard for me just to dismiss him and to think that things are just gonna not. He's just gonna not play as good or be as good. So I still got Ole Miss here, but I think that Notre Dame, they got the their defense is going to be good. That offense is going to be good. Their run game is going to be great. Line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, they're going to be able to dominate. And so I don't necessarily think this is going to be like a shootout per se. I could just see a tighter, close, like 28, 24, 27 type game. So we got our semifinals, and our semifinals are Miami versus Ohio State and Texas versus Notre Dame. I have just been stuck, and I wanted to wait until I got live on stream before I locked myself into a pick. So, who are we going to pick? Miami, Ohio State. Well, got one brother who loves Miami. I got another brother and a dad and a whole bunch of family who loved Ohio State. It's Ohio State in the playoffs is just a different beast. They just are. Like there's just something about Ryan Day just getting his guys focused and ready. And I don't care. I think that you win. I think Miami is going to win. And I think Miami's going to go back to the national championship again. Wow. Miami's going back to the national championship. All right, Texas versus Notre Dame. Oh, this one's so tough. I don't like this one. I don't like this one at all. Um, they haven't done it till they done it, right? And so if we got Mario Cristobal taking Miami to the national championship, um, that means the winner of this game, they're going to be potentially winning their first national championship with Sarkisian, Texas, and my mind is gonna go when I first start doing this. My mind is gonna go blank when it comes to names, and so I'm just gonna kind of keep going, and I'll forget. And if you want to correct me, please do in the comments. So, um, screw it. Give me Texas. They play the harder schedule. Nothing against Notre Dame's schedule, but if I have Texas getting this far, losing one game so far, and they're now playing a Notre Dame who's an undefeated. I get that. That's great. But Texas at this point has been battled. Like, so there's nothing that they're gonna come up against Notre Dame, and they're not going to be able to at least recognize or be able to handle. So Notre Dame's not going to overwhelm them. Whereas Texas, like Texas could, Manning could, like Notre Dame's defense. I don't think they're going to see anything like Manning until they face Trinidad Chambers. So then you know what, Josh, take that back. Holy shit! So like, yeah, I don't care. Texas, Miami, Texas. Holy crap! I don't know why. I hate it. I hate Texas so much. I'm a Nebraska fan. I hate to admit that, but I'm a Nebraska fan. It's been rough for us, unfortunately. Um, But I always hated Texas when I was in the Big 12. I always hated Texas. And I'm pretty sure our last season in the Big 12, we lost to Texas in the Big 12 championship game with when Bo Pelini was coaching. Can't remember if Will Compton was playing or not back then. But, like, fuck Texas. I hate Texas. But damn it, I'm picking Texas to win my national championship. So, congratulations, Longhorns. There you go. You're the preseason national champion. Got anything to say? No? Okay. All right. So, that was fun. That was our college football picks. Let's go ahead and move on to our NFL picks. But before we do that, let's come back here. Let's say hi. Let's say, hey, how you guys doing? How's everybody doing? How'd we like that? Did we agree with it? Probably not. Probably disagreed. You guys got something different. I get it. I understand. But that's okay. We're here for everybody's here for their own opinion. Everybody can have their own opinion. You can go watch 100 different streams and you can find people with many different opinions on all this stuff. But we're gonna cut it into the NFL now. We're just gonna keep on going. We're just gonna keep this thing rolling. We're gonna jump to the NFL. Sorry, I'm shaking with the having my hands on the table. Let's just go to the NFL page, Josh. Stop stuttering around, bro. Let's just do this. All right. Here we go. We're gonna start. Here's the regular season. I went through week by week with my cousin, and we picked every single game. And these are the records that I have for each team after the 26-27 regular season. Yeah, let's just start. AFC, Bill, 12 or AFC East, Bill, Pats, Jets, Dolphins. As you can see, Jets and Dolphins don't really expect much from them this year. Don't really know why we would, honestly. But yeah, Pats. I think the Pats take a little bit of a step back. They had an easy schedule last year. Blah blah blah. Yeah, same old rhetoric from everybody, huh? With that, but honestly, what is Drake May going to be this year? What's that defense going to look like this year? My biggest thing is all the offseason scandal with Vrabel and whatnot. I I feel like that should have been a little more than what it was, just because this lady that he was banging was a voter. Like, I don't care who you're banging. Like, if you're banging, do whatever you want. It's your life. But like, if this person that you're now having a relationship actually has like votes that help compensate your pocket and other people's pockets and can help or deter other people from getting certain things voted for them, then I mean that's just a conflict of interest in my opinion. So, am I being a little harsh on the Patriots when I picked them this year? Maybe, but I still feel like 8-9 is not awful and stuff. And plus, teams coming off of a Super Bowl loss usually aren't the greatest the next season. So I feel like the 8-9 is pretty fair. Bills 12-5. They're not. I don't care. They're not going nowhere. New head coach, whatever. It doesn't matter. Joe Brady was their offense coordinator. Been their offense coordinator. I've been talking about Joe Brady since he was freaking with Carolina and Matt Rule and stuff. So like Joe Brady's been around. Joe Brady's been a coach for a while. He knows what he's doing. Like I think they're going to be just fine. In the North, Bengals 12-5. Steelers 10-7. Ravens 6-11. Yup. Browns 2-15. Oh, shocker, right? Like, but this one, I'll bet you a lot of people aren't really vibing with. I think many people have the Ravens a lot higher than 6-11. But I don't care. I think that the Ravens are going to struggle. I love Lamar. I love Lamar, but we'll see, man. Prove it. That's where I'm at with this team. You got a new head coach, so you fired who I think is. I don't know if Harbaugh's is a Hall of Fame coach, but man, he's a damn good coach. And when he's gonna be he's gonna be perfectly fine with the Giants, I think. So new head coach, first time head coach, it's prove it, show me. And so I don't believe in you until you do something. Steelers 10-7. Why not? Why not? Aaron Rodgers is happier than I've ever seen him. I don't think I've ever heard Aaron Rodgers talk the way he talks and stuff. He just sounds. Now, granted, he's always been very conspiracy talk and pushed the boundaries and stuff. But like listening to him talk about his team and his family and everything, like there's just something a little extra with him this year. And he's reunited with Mike McCarthy in the Steel. Like they have a very veteran team. I don't have them starting off the hottest. I have them kind of back and forth almost every game throughout the season. But veteran team figures it out, gets enough to get double digits, so that way they might have a chance to get into the playoffs. Because we're gonna find that there's some teams that are double digit win teams that may not be in the playoffs. So we'll just have to kind of check on that. So on to the South. Oh, Bengals 12-5. I mean, that offense, if they're healthy, I know that defense is not the greatest, but the defense it's good enough. You know, remember the Cowboys last year and how good their offense was, and it was like, oh, if their defense was just a little bit better, right? That's the Bengals this year. That's the Bengals. The Bengals offense is going to be just elite, maybe number one offense in the league, and their defense just has to be good. And if their defense is just good enough, 12-5, easy, easy. To the South, Texans 11-6, Jags 11-6, Titans 7-10, and Colts 6-11. Colts are firing everybody. I'm just gonna go that route. They've tried. I mean, I like their head coach GM combination. They seem like football dudes and whatnot, but it just when you draft the wrong quarterback, it sets your franchise back. And I know what that is like. So, I mean, Anthony Richardson, I'm sorry, dude. Like, I had hope for you. I even drafted you in a fantasy league. Now, granted, I do enough leagues, but like, I drafted you in a league, and it's just that's what happens, bro. When you draft the wrong quarterback, just ask the Browns. Titans 7-10. I feel like 7-10 with the Titans with brand new coaching staff and everything. I actually feel like that's a successful season for them. As long as Cam Ward's showing improvement, that defense is showing improvement, they can potentially find guy receiver Cardinal Tate. Is he going to be a dude? They got Ao Manor or something like that, I believe, who was a rookie last year, who had a couple games. I don't know what he'll be like, but 7-10 seems fair. And honestly, it feels like a good start to the new regime there moving forward. So Jags, Texans, 11-6. Texans will end up finishing in first, winning the division, but Jags also 11-6. Texans are hindered obviously by their quarterback and C.J. Stroud. I don't necessarily think that things are going to change too much. I just think they're going to be a little more conservative on offense. Maybe be able to run the ball a little bit better with signing David Montgomery. So having Willie Marks with David Montgomery, I feel like that should be not a bad combination. You got a good Willie Marks should be good on first, second downs, and third and longs, and David Montgomery. I mean, David Montgomery is a good every down back, but like if you're going to utilize the strength, David Montgomery is going to be great short down, goal line, all that sort of stuff. So I think their run game can be good. Jags, can they do it again? Can they do it again? That's kind of why I have them at 11-6. I do believe in them and stuff, but they're just not going to do enough to win the division. AFC West, here we go. Oh yay, Vegas, and I even feel like this is high. I feel like this is high for Vegas. I feel like I need to be a little lower. I know they say don't judge your team based on the preseason, but damn it, our defense doesn't look good. But I know it's preseason, so. But I got Vegas at 7-10, KC at 10-7. Feel like that's fair for KC. Chargers at 11-6, Broncos at 12-5. Broncos, yeah, number one seeds last year. Did they overperform a little bit? Maybe. Did they? I mean, they just got Waddle. The defense didn't really get any worse. I mean, I don't really feel like I'm missing anything there. Like, why should the Broncos just all of a sudden, they've won double-digit games both years with Sean Payton and made the playoff. I'm confused at the people who talk about like luck with the Broncos and stuff. I understand they were fortunate, but I mean, you kind of create your own fortune sometimes. So I'm in on the Broncos. I don't think that what they've done is fluky. I'm a Bo Nix guy. God bless Bo Nix, right, Perna? So I believe in Bo Nix. You just go and watch the playoff game for the Broncos last year. The two games that Bo Nix played in the playoffs. And if you watch both of those games and you don't think that Bo Nix is a good enough quarterback, then that's your choice. But I think that Bo Nix is good enough. So there's our AFC. Let's move on to the NFC. We're going to start in the East. We got them Cowboys finishing 11-6. The Eagles finishing 11-6. Giants at 8-9, and Washington at 6-11. Washington, I like Washington. Big Jaden Daniels fan. His style, the way he plays, can his body take it? Like, so Josh Allen can play the way Josh Allen plays because his body can handle it. Lamar can play the way he plays for the most part because it's really hard to touch Lamar. He's so electric. Jaden, I need to see you protect yourself more, Jaden. I need it to happen. The defense makes me nervous again. I don't know what I'm getting from the defense. The offense should be fine. The run game, I don't see anything electric. The pass game, we got Jaden. We got Jaden throwing the ball. Friggin' Terry, Scary Terry. I love Scary Terry. But I just don't know about their weapons. Giants 8-9, Harbaugh, brand new coach. Jackson Dart's going to be back healthy. Malik Neighbors will get back later in the season. So I think that's going to partially hurt them because I don't know how long he's going to be out for. But once he's back in and you have Scattaboo and you got everybody healthy, then things are going to start clicking. Things will start moving. But 8-9, they won't make the playoff. Philly 11-6. Like Jalen Hurts, been to two Super Bowls, been a Super Bowl MVP, was arguably the best player in the other Super Bowl that he lost against the Chiefs. So he outplayed Mahomes in two Super Bowls. And I'm just supposed to, not pick them to win double-digit games? Like, come on. It's Philly. So they'll figure out the offensive line. The run game will get going again. That defense is always clicking. And Fangio's still there, I'm pretty sure. So they're going to be okay. By surprise, it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys, I think that defense is going to get a little bit better. And so if that defense is getting a little bit better, then we got a good team. That offense is going to be fine. The offense, Cowboys and Bengals offense, going to be up there, both of them. And so they're like the mirrors of each other, AFC, NFC. All right, let's go to the North. Bears 12-5, Packers 11-6, Vikings 9-8, and then another surprise. I got the Lions at 6-11. Didn't expect it, especially picking the Vikings to win 9 games like that. I feel like that's a little. Kyler going 9 games, brand new team. What I did, I think it's gonna happen. What I think. So Lions, I just felt like with the injuries, the off-season problems, I know things have been pretty quiet for the most part, but outside of the offense, who are the Lions? Aiden Hutchinson's there, but what's the rest of the defense look like? Yeah, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and yeah, we got the best freaking running back, or the number one fantasy running back and whatnot. We got Jared Goff to throw the ball to. Jared Goff, Jared Goff. Like, I mean, Detroit loves him. So I'm probably wrong on this one. I will say I'm probably wrong, now that I think or looking back at it and whatnot. But I don't know. That's what I did when I did it. Vikings 9-8. I think Kyler is just gonna. I think he's gonna be successful with. Um, See, freaking head coach is just leaving my head, but I think Kyler's gonna be successful. I think Kyler's gonna work out. Not good enough to make the playoff, but enough to keep 9 off the field. I guess he's. I heard he might not even be their backup right now, the way things are going. So, and then we got the Packers. I got the Packers struggling to start the season, but once they get Micah back, yeah, like that defense rocking when they had Micah, and that offense is just fine. LaFleur calling the plays. I'm a big fan of Jordan Love. Jordan Love's got MVP potential. Why not? 2 years ago, he was the hot pick to win the MVP, right? So what happened? It's not like he got bad. I still think he's better today than he was 2 years ago. Like, I don't know. So I'm in on Jordan Love. I'm in on the Packers. Bears 1 seed, 12-5. Best quarterback head coach combo in the league. Come at me. Don't care. This is the best head coach quarterback combo in the league for the next 5 years. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, lock it up. Caleb Williams, his talent level, if he is coached right and he has the right commitment to it all, he's got all the tools, man. He's got all the tools. All the tools. So that's my NFC North. Let's finish it off with the NFC South and the NFC West. In the South, Saints at 10-7, Panthers at 8-9, Bucks at 7-10, and Atlanta at 6-11. So my Atlanta pick might be a little too high. I don't like left-handed quarterback. Left-handed quarterbacks usually don't ever work out. I was never even really a big fan of Tebow when he played, but man, was he exciting to watch. And living in Denver, it was really great to get to watch that. But yeah, I don't, man. Michael Penis and friggin' Penix and Tua. Like, is Tua gonna be the starter? Like, it just it's sad because the amount of talent that this Atlanta team has, it's almost better for them if they do have a season where they just completely poop the bed. Like, why not? Because if this team had one of think about it, if this team has one of these young quarterbacks going into next season, why couldn't they be a surprise team? Why not? Because the amount of talent that's on this Atlanta Falcons team, if they just got a young, like, I don't know, man, Atlanta, yeah, watch out for Atlanta, depending on who they get at quarterback. Or just keep an eye on them. But next season, I'm not seeing a lot of wins. I even feel like 6 is a little too high. So, yeah. Buccaneers. All right, so I made this video back when there were still a lot of tension. Vita Bea wasn't even signed with the Bucs and whatnot. And so I thought about, should I go back and adjust it and change? No, don't care. I love Baker. Love Baker. My oldest, his favorite team is the Bucs, which is funny because last Super Bowl my team was in, they just lost to the Bucs. So funny that my kid would choose the Buccaneers and he wasn't even born or alive or thought of. Yeah, that's great. But I think that the Buccaneers, they're going to be. I think they're going to be fine. Just not. They're just not going to have it this year. Last year at the beginning of the season, Baker was saving them from a lot of games and stuff, and then they kind of fell off and couldn't ever recover. And to say it just wasn't the same the rest of the season. No Mike Evans. I understand you got Emeka Ibuka. You still got players on that offense. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Panthers 8-9. I wanted to pick more for them, but I just couldn't. They just prove it. Show me. That's where I'm at. And with the Saints, I feel like this guy did show me and did prove it. And Tyler Shough was friggin' great for the Saints last year when he got a chance to play. So sign me up for that head coach who's been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, who's coached pretty good offenses, top 10 offenses. They got Tyler Shough. He showed that he's pretty good. I will say Jordan Tyson getting hurt, missing what he's probably going to miss first 6 weeks or whatever now. That does suck. But they still got Chris Olave. They still got other guys. They still got targets to throw the ball to. Not like you freaking had homeboy last year anyway. Tyson's a rookie this year anyway. So whatever. It's just like he wasn't there. Not even there. Boom. So once you get him around week 7 or whatever, then you're going to be fine. Like it's just going to be another weapon to have. So 10-7 from the Saints might be a game too high, but whatever. Give me the Saints. All right, NFC West. Here we go. Arguably the best division in football according to people. Rams 14-3, Seahawks 12-5, Niners 8-9, and the Cardinals at 3-14. I don't really think I need to say much about the Cardinals other than please stay healthy, Jeremiah Love. The watching him run in the preseason. That was fun. A lot of fun. So can we have that for the regular season, please, Arizona? Niners, just can you guys be healthy? Like, do you know what it's like to be healthy anymore? Christian McCaffrey's older now. He's 30 or 30, I think 30 or 31. Like, so how much longer does he have to carry you guys? Brock Purdy's probably been one of the quarterbacks that I've had the biggest turnaround on. I used to not believe in Brock, but I do. He's great. Speaking of which, we can have a philosophy football talk at a different time about how things are a little different gambling wise. It used to be very simple to just go bet quarterback coach, and that was, oh, okay, that doesn't matter. That's it, game over. And it's not necessarily as simple as that anymore, So, Seattle 12-5, they're the Super Bowl defending champ. They're not going to fall off really at all. Their defense is still going to be good. They're still going to have a good run game. Yeah, they don't have Kenneth Walker, but they got a good offensive line. I know they got new play callers in there and whatnot, but you're a team coming off the Super Bowl. You got a lot of confidence. You pretty much have a lot of the same guys back, so there's not too much turnover. I don't see them falling off. And 12-5 doesn't sound too aggressive either. So Rams at 14-3. I mean, as you can see, they're obviously the team that I have with the most wins. But I feel like deservedly so, because if Aaron Donald comes back, you just got Myles Garrett. You have freaking Matthew Stafford throwing the ball to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. And they just drafted a tight end out of Ohio State. They already had tight end. They got Kyron Williams. They got Blake Corum at running back. So they got just these guys that just fit every little thing that they do. It just fits what they do. And they got one of the best head coaches in the league. So yeah, 14-3, lock it up. Let's go look at the playoffs now. Let's see how all this worked out in the playoffs. So, AFC, 1 seed Bill, 2 seed Bengals, 3 seed Broncos, 4 seed Texans, 5 seed Chargers, 6 seed Jags, 7 seed Steelers. NFC, Rams got the 1 seed, Bears got the 2 seed, Dallas got the 3 seed, Saints with the 4 seed, Seattle 5, Packers 6, Eagles 7. Notice something. Notice who is not there. And I mentioned it during the Steelers. But the Kansas City Chiefs went 10-7, the same as the Pittsburgh Steelers, and missed the playoffs. Now, like I said, I went through and did this week by week. And so it figured out, it shot out at me all these records and the 1 through 7 for the playoff. And apparently, according to the tiebreakers and everything, Kansas City Chiefs are missing the playoff at 10-7. I'm sorry, Chiefs. I'm sorry. Not sorry, but I'm sorry. So that means let's focus over. Don't focus so much over here to the right yet, because we haven't. We'll get there. We're starting at the left. This is the wild card round. Okay, so the Steelers are going to go to the Bengals. Jags are going to go to the Broncos. Chargers are going to go to the Texans. We'll just keep it. We'll just stay in the AFC for now. Just stay in the AFC for now. Bengals are going to host Steelers, beat them. Broncos are going to host the Jaguars. This past season, Jaguars came to Denver, whooped Denver. I think in the playoffs, first round, not that Denver wasn't focused, not that. I just feel like it being a home game in the playoffs and Denver, the fans here are rowdy. I mean, they're rowdy everywhere, but I've been here. I know what the playoff games are like here. I know how loud it can get. And I know yeah. Broncos win a close, tight, hard fought game. I wanted to take the Jags. I really wanted to take the Jags in that game, but it's just hard to pick against the Broncos at home in the playoffs. And then I took the Chargers over the Texans in Houston. I like Mike McDaniel. I think what they're going to do with that offense this year is going to be just what they need there to get over some of these humps that they struggle with. And the Texans, Stroud, you might be out of the job, buddy. Just like you went 11-6, you lost your first home playoff game, but people are probably going to be calling for your job because that's going to be 3 playoff games in a row. The last 2 playoff games that you had, I think you had like a total of like 8 to 10 total turnovers with fumbles and interceptions. And now you're going to have lost to the Chargers in the next game, and I don't know how many turnovers you have in that game. So, yeah, I don't know if it's fair or if it's right, but I just feel like his name and head is probably going to be called for amongst many in that fan base. So that leaves us next round. Chargers will then go to the Bills, who are on a bye, and the Broncos will then go to Cincinnati. I kind of wanted to pick the Chargers, but I picked the Bills. I just think that the Bills their defense is gonna be a little improved. Chargers defense is good, but this game is gonna be all about offense. It's just who can score, and this might be the Joe Brady game. This might be the game where it's like, okay, now you earn your medal. Like, we believe in you, we trust in you. There's no more questioning. Like, okay, is he really the guy? Well, we got the 1 seed. Is he just gonna lose? Like, I think we're gonna get the 1 seed. We're gonna be 34-31, 35-31. Like, it's going to be a high scoring game. Shoot, it might be 42-35 type game. Like, this is going to be high scoring. I don't even care that it's in Buffalo. I don't even care how cold it could be. The only way that it's not high scoring is if it's actually snowing stupid hard, because they said they made the stadium to have, 50% less wind effectiveness on the field. So that way it doesn't affect Josh Allen throwing the ball half as much as it used to. So that means it's going to do the same for the other team. So unless it's completely snowing, that's really the only way I see a low-scoring game coming out of there. Broncos at the Bengals. Just this game, what was Thursday night football game a few years ago? Was that the year that the Bengals went to the Super Bowl? No, I don't think it was. But anyway, this this is gonna be a fun game. This would be a very fun game. I think we got another high scoring game here. Um, like a 27, like a 27-21, 27-20, 24 type game. I got the Bengals winning. I just, as you can see over here, Bengals at Bills. I'm on the Bengals. Bengals are going to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. Who they gonna play? Let's go find out. Hopefully I didn't scroll up too much so that way you uh you see who my Super Bowl pick is. But so we got the Eagles going to Chicago, Packers going to Dallas, Seattle going to New Orleans. We picked Philly over Chicago. Didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it, but I gotta respect. I gotta respect it. Bears have had the Eagles number, but the Eagles are going to get one on them. No one team just doesn't dominate the other team when you're both good teams, and I don't think the Eagles are just not a good team anymore. So Eagles get one on the Bears here. Packers at Dallas. Who doesn't love this? Who does not love this? This is just straight drama, just perfect full circle. This has everything. And I'm sorry, Micah, but you're on the wrong team because the Cowboys are going to win this one. Seattle at New Orleans. I think Seattle, this is where New Orleans' run ends. This will be a fun game. This could be like the Carolina LA game last year where going into the game, we all think the Rams are just going to destroy them. They're going to blow out Carolina. And then there's like a minute left in the game, and it's like, wait, Carolina's winning the game? And then Matt Stafford has to throw a touchdown pass to tight end who makes a beautiful catch along the sideline. And they score a touchdown, 50 seconds left, take the lead to get the win against Carolina on the road in the playoffs. So I think that could be similar to this game where it's lower scoring, kind of ugly. New Orleans just makes too many mistakes at the end. So now we got Eagles at the Rams, Seattle at Dallas. Rams are the best team in the league. I just got the Rams. And then Seattle versus Dallas. Dallas's defense just needed to be enough better. And they're enough better. Get them a turnover or two in a divisional round, and they get the dub at home, mind you. At home, because they're the 3 seed, and Seattle is the 5 seed, so they will play at home. And they will move on and they will go to LA to take on the Rams. And I think the Rams win. We have a rematch from Super Bowl when the Rams won in LA, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Bengals potentially could have won that Super Bowl. They had a call go against them. I believe it was like a holding or pass interference or something like that at the 10, 15-yard line in the red zone, and it wasn't really against their linebacker. I forget his name, but yeah, so that one kind of got stolen from the Bengals, so I think they might come back and get revenge, even though everybody thinks that the Rams, with Myles Garrett and freaking, if homeboy comes back, dude, Rams are gonna be tough to beat. But Bengals Rams. There we go. Wow, we did it. We made all of our NFL picks. We oops. Getting too excited. Hitting too many buttons. Look at that. Wow. NFL. Bengals? Super Bowl? Man. The problem is I do love Joe Burrow. I do think Jamar Chase is amazing. So we got like Hall of Famers and stuff. I don't know what the record is, but I do know that it's not very good for quarterbacks who go to a Super Bowl and then lose their first Super Bowl, and then for them to get back and win a Super Bowl. So Joe Burrow is definitely going to be, we're fighting uphill, in this one. So, but yeah, what do you guys think? You guys like it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? How you feeling? You let me know. So, all right, that's the NFL. So we've done college. We've done the NFL prediction. Now, probably one many of you don't know about, don't really watch. Maybe if you talk to me, you've heard me talk about it and whatnot. But it's footy. Australian rules football. Discovered this in 2020 during the COVID years. McAfee, huge McAfee fan, so I've been watching McAfee for years. But back then, we were looking for sports, just where was hosting, where was playing sports. And one of the things that we came across was the AFL, Australian Rules Football. It was like instant love. I watched it and it was like a combination of football, like it just has so much, just so much stuff. But it's like a pure sport when I watch it. The way I think about it, because the game is just, for the most part, it's just constantly going. There's no timeout. There's no break. You don't get to just call timeout like, oh, in basketball, time, football, end of the play. Oh, ice the kicker. None of that. You don't get no timeout. The only time the game stops is if we have an injury or if it's the quarter. So I've been watching this now. I think this is my 6th year. As you see, I'm a Suns fan. Suns fan, go Suns. I have our scarf from when we made the finals for the first time last year. And finals, by the way, for those of you that don't understand that lingo, it's our playoffs. They call it their final series. We would just call it the playoffs. We have the NBA playoff that have the NBA finals, which is just one series in the playoff. But the way the AFL does it, it's called the finals series. So I got a few slides. I got one image plus a couple things that I filled, or plus one thing that I filled out that we're gonna take a look at, and then we'll make our predictions for the finals. So we'll go through the wild card round, every game through there, all the way through the finals, and then we will actually look at the lines for the 2 final matchups that start on Friday. And for us in America, that's 3:40 in the morning for me on Friday, is when Western Bulldogs play the Collingwood Magpies. So yeah, so let's dive in and take a look at this, and we can maybe get some good picks in, maybe get some good value. All right. Where do I want to start? Do I want to start here? And then we'll start at the ladder. Yeah, we'll start with the ladder. So the ladder. Top 6 teams are going to be Freo, Sydney, Brisbane, Hawthorn, Geelong, and Adelaide. All that means is these 6 teams are off this weekend. They have their first ever wild card weekend this weekend. And it involves the teams that are 7 through 10. So number 7 is going to play 10 and 8 is going to play 9. So the top 10 teams now make the final series in AFL. And it looks something like this. Their bracket's a little different than the things that we do here with our sports. So they'll have the wild card round, and but the big thing is if you look in the center right here, their number 1 seed will play their number 4 seed, and their number 2 seed will play a number 3 seed. And what this is essentially is that if you're a top 4 team, you get a double elimination. So you get a second chance. So you can lose in the playoff or the finals, and you can still go on and still have a chance to win it all. Pretty sure that's what Brisbane did last year, if I'm not mistaken. Who I bet on. And I picked to win. So, all right, let's get into how we have it. First things first, let's look at the premiership window. I believe it's for the last 20 or 21 years, they say, that the winner, the champion, has come in this box, this green box right here. And all that green box is, and all that it means is, are you in top 6 in the offense and top 6 on defense? Okay? So the bottom line is offense, starts at 18, goes over to 1, and then the going down and up and down, bottom is 18, top is 1. So if you look at it, there are only 4 teams in the premiership window. We have 10 teams that make the finals, but there's only 4 teams that the data says can win the premiership. Okay? Those 4 teams, number 1 team in the league, the Fremantle Doctors. Number 2 team in the league, Sydney Swans. We'll talk about them in just a minute. Number 4 seed, I believe Hawthorn is, the Hawthorn Hawks, and then the number 5 seed, the Geelong Cat. Okay, I said we want to talk about Sydney real quick. You don't know if you don't follow, but Sydney Swans had 5 players stood down because of a sex scandal, alleged sexual abuse. Sounds like they had some party girls, some strippers that they called to the room. There was cocaine involved, and still following the story, but don't really know any more details other than strippers, cocaine. They were supposed, I believe, their team bus was supposed to leave at 8 in the morning, 8 or 8:30, and I heard that they were calling strippers and cocaine at 5:30 in the morning still. And I've heard that they were 2-hour bookings. So these guys were booking at 5:30 in the morning for 2 hours, and they were supposed to leave at 8. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say right now, Sydney, I'm not picking you to win anything. And I'm sorry. I know you guys just won your last game with the home and home with the AFLW, and that was awesome. That was great. And I know that it's been really tough on the players and stuff, but it's not happening. I'm not doing it. I just don't think that missing 5 guys, especially a guy who's a Brownlow contestant, that's the best, the MVP of the league, basically. You have a Brownlow player. You have 2 potential All Australians there. It's 3 or 4 of your. It's definitely 3 of your top 7 players on the team that are just now gone. So because of this scandal, and it's one of the biggest scandals that's hit the AFL in a long time. Definitely, probably one of the biggest ones that I've witnessed and I've started watching and whatnot. So that means it's only up to 3 teams. That means it's up to Freo, Hawthorn, or Geelong to win the premiership this year. So we're going to keep that in mind as we're going through this. Also, keep in mind the Brisbane Lions are the defending 2-time champions. They've been to the finals 3 years in a row. They lost it, and then they've been back the next 2 years and have won both years. So this would be their 4th year in a row they've been to the final if they make it. So just keep that in mind too. All right, here we go. And this is how everything's already set out. We already went through the top 10. So here we go. Wildcard round over here. First game is going to be Collingwood versus the Western Bulldogs. Collingwood has the Brownlow probably from this year, Nick Daycock, so he's the best player in the league. Nick is amazing to watch. You just watch Collingwood, and it feels like he does everything. It feels like he is the reason that their team has any success, and that's what it is. Western, I love Western. They got Bontempelli. Bontempelli is one of my favorite players to watch. He's so good. And amongst the player data, I believe he's rated the number 1 player the last 3 seasons. I don't know about this season, where he's ranked, but the last 3 seasons, full-length seasons, he's been the number 1 player. And mind you, last season he was the number 1 player, and I believe he missed like 5 or 6 games. So, Collingwood, Western. I think Western's just got too much depth. Collingwood's too old. They decided to play all their guys the last game of the season. I don't know what for. So they're going to be missing a couple guys. Western they've been against it the last couple of weeks. So a couple of weeks ago, I bet on them to cover, and they won the game flat out. And then last week against Carlton, or was that 2 weeks against Carlton? They tied, and then last week they got the dub. Either way, but they're just underdog. Nobody, and even right now, I think they're underdog. We'll go look at the line here in a minute for this game, but they just don't get any respect. And they have one of the best players. They have Ed Richards, who's also a top player. He's super good. Their attack and their offense is really good. So is Collingwood going to be able to keep up? They can. I don't think their defense is going to be able to slow down the Bulldogs, and that's what the crazy thing about the Bulldog too recently is that their defense has been playing better, and that was their problem. That was the thing that was hindering them and holding them back was their defense. So Give me the Bulldogs to win first ever wildcard game. Next wildcard game is Carlton at Melbourne at the MCG. So it's basically a home game for both of these teams, but Melbourne will be the home team. Carlton, this is why they created the playoff format in the AFL, is because of a team like Carlton. What was Carlton's record after 10 games? Well, or after 10 weeks, excuse me. I believe they were 2-7 and they just fired their coach. 2-7 and just fired their coach, their head coach. They got a brand new head coach. Well, what do they do from week 10 on? Well, since week 10, they've been the best team in the competition, not just one of, or no, the best team. They've beaten Brisbane, they've beaten Freo. I believe they beat Hawthorn, but they have beaten the top of the top team in the league since they fired their coach. Their interim head coach came in, got hired full time before the last game of the season. Last game of the season, they played Fremantle. Fremantle had already locked up the one position, so this game is completely inconsequential to them. They did start all their guys, though, but Carlton beat them. Carlton went out there and just flat out beat them. So Melbourne plays amazing at the MCG. That's the only thing that kind of gives me pause with this game. But I don't see how you pick against Carlton in this particular spot. I feel like you just have to keep riding that momentum. So that's this weekend. And then it's next weekend, and all of these games, so there's 4 games next weekend. Okay? I don't know exactly what the order is going to be. I believe they start with the higher seeds. So I think Freo and Hawthorn, and then Brisbane and Sydney will be the first game. But yeah, so we'll go over these first. Western versus Adelaide. I love Western, but I've been watching Adelaide was one of those teams where I was like, man, it's gonna be hard for me to pick against Adelaide this season. In the finals, like it's just gonna be hard. Let me go back to Melbourne real quick. Matt Gawn might be the best player in the league. I know he got voted the captain of the All Australian team. He's the best ruck. I mean, I've witnessed. I've only been watching the game 5-6 years, but I think that Carlton is just going to be able to. I don't think that Gawn's going to matter in that game. I was doing some research and reading and stuff like that, and it sounds like what Carlton does combats what Melbourne and what Gawn do. So, all right. I know. Apologize. That was dumb. That was stupid. But go back to the Bulldogs. Adelaide. Adelaide, I feel like they just last year they were the number one team after the regular season, so they had the best record in the regular season, and then they got swept. They lost their first game, and then they lost their second game. Just bang bang gone. So they had double elimination, and they were out after 2 games, and they were the best team in the competition last year throughout the regular home and away season. So I think that they grew up a little bit. I think Tex is retiring also, so they got that little bit. It's been a very emotional season for Dawson with his brother dying and everything, and the team's super ride around him. Rankin is playing great. He's always a threat to make anything happen. Always a threat to make anything happen. So give me the Crows. I love the Bulldog, but give me Adelaide. I think it's their time right now. Carlton versus Geelong. Okay, I know I just talked all this stuff about Carlton, how great Carlton is. Oh, Carlton, best team in the league since week 10, all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? One of the one teams in one place that you don't want to play is, and that's at Geelong at the GM HBA. Like, Geelong field is a little different. So, like in hockey, how like the ice rinks are a little bit different, like where they put the benches where guys come in and off and stuff like that. In footy, their field constructions are a little bit different. So some are a little more round, some are a little wider, so like longer, some are a little more condensed and stuff. So you have to play the game a little different. So sometimes you can play the game long sideways from edge to edge, because of the wide field, so you can spread the defense out. And sometimes you got to play long because there's nowhere to go with the ball to the outside, so you just have to go more forward and backward. And that's the thing with Geelong here. Geelong has the home field. Their defense is Brad Scott. It's not Brad Scott. Brad Scott got fired from freaking Chris Scott. Chris Scott, best coach in the league. Chris Scott, best coach in the league. Sorry, don't care. Not even my favorite team, but I think Chris Scott's the best coach in the league. Would listen to that guy talk footy any day. Geelong, he's going to have Geelong set up in whatever needs to be done to stop these guys. They got a bye week, so they're going to get to completely prepare for this Carlton team. They're going to understand and they're going to know that Carlton's been as hot as they are, and they're going to be able to stop them. I don't have any doubts about it. Carlton is going to be able to stop them. They have the type of guys to do it. They can outrun them, so they can outclass them in the middle. The defense, their defense is for Geelong, it's probably better than Carlton's defense, even though both these teams are highly contested teams for defense. Yeah, it's just not the right place for Carlton, not the right field, not the right team for them to play. I feel like if it was a lot of different teams, like if they're going to Adelaide, I'm probably picking them to beat Adelaide, but this is who they're playing. This is how it goes. I got Geelong winning. Sorry, Carlton. But you know what? You should be happy to be here. You should be happy to have made it this far. Hawthorn plays Freo. Or Hawthorn. Yeah, plays Fremantle. I love Hawthorn. I think that they got a really good coach. Their team is great. But Fremantle, people a little worried about Fremantle because they didn't end the season hot, and they kind of had what I think they've lost 2 of their last 5 or something like that. So like they kind of stumbled a little bit, but like they had a 14-game win streak during the regular season, and every team that's ever done that has made it to the finals, if not won the final. So you're not going to just all of a sudden get me to be like, just throw that out the window and forget that even happened. That's just not going to happen. Freo's going to win this game at home against Hawthorn, and they're going to go ahead and move on to the semifinal. Brisbane at Sydney. Don't need to say much about this. Sydney's won the last 2 premierships. Brisbane's won the last 2 premierships. Sydney has all their off-field drama. Brisbane is going to outclass them. Brisbane by double digits. Sign me up. Maybe Brisbane by 20. I don't care. Sydney, I love you. Sorry. No, I don't. All right. Here we go. You can see the rest of it, but Adelaide will now play Sydney in Sydney's second chance game. This game will be played in Sydney, so even though Sydney hosted Brisbane and Sydney lost, they will get a chance to host again because they are the higher seed and they're with the better record. So it doesn't matter. They won't have to go on the road even though they hosted, yada, yada. So Sydney hosts Adelaide. Sorry, Sydney. Not sorry. Adelaide's going to win this game. And it's literally 2 different vibes of the team. Crows are just happy, fun, family, focused, retirement. Like, they're here. They're here right now as a team. The Swans, maybe the guys that are left on the team are like this, but their skill level and their talent level is not good enough. And Adelaide is going to be able to destroy them. Like, it's just, give me Adelaide by double digits. Like, yeah. And then Geelong is going to go and play Hawthorn. This was tough because these are 2 of my favorite coaches. Sam Mitchell for Hawthorn is great. This game is just these guys are going to be all over the field, running all over the field. I wanted to pick Geelong, and then I wanted to pick Hawthorn, and then I wanted to pick Geelong, and I had to make a pick. So I just made a pick, and I took the Hawk, And it's mainly because the Hawks have been trying to break through. They've been trying to break through, and they've been so close to breaking through. A couple of years ago, they almost did it, and that was bad. Like they were what last year they were the Hollywood Hawk going into the season, but they had just earned that nickname because of what they did at the end of the season previously. So Hawks finally break through. Hawks are going to the semifinal, and we got Adelaide at Fremantle and Hawthorn at Brisbane. So the Crows versus the Dockers and the Hawks versus the Lions. Unfortunately, Adelaide probably going to come to an end here. Fremantle, again, they have the squad. They are the deepest team from top to bottom as far as all 23 guys. Like, just. I mean, even the guy from, even the American kid, Mason Cox, I'm not a big fan of him, but with the way the rucks, the importance of the rucks in the game today and stuff like that, he does enough. He does what needs to be done. Adelaide's got all the boys though that can do all the contesting in the front. So if Adelaide can control the ball and just and win the clearances, and they can get the ball inside 50 and try to get to Riley Silstorf, who I heard is the number one contested ball getter, marksman in the league. So and Fogarty's not bad. And it's Texas final season, and we're in a semifinal. So it's going to be a rough game for Frio. Don't get me wrong. I would probably be betting the over in this game because they're just gonna. I feel like they're just gonna let it loose. If Fremantle doesn't play loose, Fremantle will lose this game if they don't play loose. Like that's gonna be how that's how they have to play in order to win this thing. If they don't, then they're not going to. But I think they will against Adelaide, and they'll get it done. Hawks and Brisbane. Now remember, go back here. Brisbane's down here. They're not even in here. Hawks are up in here. So if we take the Hawks, then we're guaranteed. We're guaranteed that the premiership window is a lock, just like that, right? Well, I have a soft spot for Brisbane. Brisbane has been my team that I've picked the last 3 years in the playoffs. Yeah, they lost to Collingwood 3 years ago, but man, they were exciting the last couple years. And so I picked them against the Hawks. And so I think the two best teams in the competition right now are going to be the two teams that are playing for final, and that is Fremantle taking on Brisbane. I wanted to pick Brisbane. I'm telling you, I wanted to pick Brisbane. But I'm taking some things that I know from just other sports and just being alive and watching sports for so long and stuff, that the best team in the league may falter just a little, maybe close to the playoff, and then people start to question them or doubt them a little bit. But they're not too far removed from remembering how they won all those games in a row. You know, things didn't just they don't have injuries that they're dealing with. Nothing sudden or tragic happened. So all they have to do is just really kind of just find the groove and just get back into it. And so I think that they will. Brisbane's beatable. Uh, Fremantle's just going to come into this game focused. Both teams will, but Frio has the talent. I think that they're one of the few teams that's actually probably just as deep, if not deeper, than Brisbane. Brisbane might have the more younger talent and stuff overall, but I don't know. This year, I got Frio winning. So congratulations, Frio. You guys are going to win the finals. What do you think? What do you think? All right. Now, let's go and have a look real quick because we do have these matchups that are happening on Friday and Saturday, early in the morning for us in America, that we're going to want to take a look at. Collingwood, it's currently 2.5 point favorite against Western, over under 169.5. Collingwood's minus 130, Western's minus 105. So basically, they're saying that both teams should win the game, but Collingwood is a little bit more of a favorite. So I'm thinking that more of the money is on Collingwood, which makes sense because Collingwood is the most loved team in the AFL. They have the biggest fan base in the AFL. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Carlton at Melbourne is Carlton minus 5.5. Over under is 173.5. Carlton's minus 155 and Melbourne plus 115 to win. Let me tell you something. And this is what we're going to do on this channel. Okay? I know we're having fun tonight and everything, but the stuff that I'm about to show you right here is you maybe can or can't see it, but right down here, Carlton, okay? When we looked at this line over the weekend, so just a few days ago, after Carlton and after Melbourne had both played and finished their games, right? So it had been determined that Carlton was going to go to Melbourne and Collingwood was going to go to Western, right? So that's when we looked at the line. That's what this line is from. Carlton was plus 6.5. Right now they're minus 5.5. They were plus 6.5. What is the difference from 5.5 to 6.5? Oh, wait. Is that 12 points? Is that 2 whole goals? So we got Carlton at plus 6.5, which is 2 goals more or higher. So we got a 2-goal spread advantage now because we were just paying attention and decided to make the bet back then because we thought, wow, Carlton's the best team in the league since round 10, and they're underdogs. Yeah, it's against Melbourne, and Melbourne's got Gone, who's arguably one of the best players in the league, best ruckman in the league, and Melbourne's been amazing at the MCG at home or at the MCG, and they're playing the game at the MCG, right? No. Carlton was clearly undervalued. Clearly. And it's not just me. I'm not just one guy coming in here and flipping a line. Like, no, that's not how this works, especially for AFL. Because they got their own sports betting apps and stuff like that in Australia that they use. So I don't know how much they're using DraftKings and FanDuel and stuff. And we will use both DraftKings and FanDuel. I just had DraftKings pulled up. So we'll just look at that one for right now. Maybe I'll pull up FanDuel and we'll see if they're the different. But I got the line at Carlton plus 6.5. So they could lose by a goal and I still cover. Okay? This is what we do. This is what we will do on this channel. We will find the value in the game and in the lines on this channel. Let's look at another one. Because I crushed it last weekend in footy. So I'm just gonna describe it to you. Final weekend of the season. Thursday night game. Gold Coast is at St. Kilda. Okay? Gold Coast had the guy playing in his final game. Matt King playing in his final game because he's probably leaving for Hawthorn. Christian Pachaka not playing. And Matt Collins not playing, our best defensive player. So because those two guys weren't playing and stuff like that, Gold Coast was 13.5-point underdogs against St. Kilda. Why? St. Kilda's missing their best player. Messiah Wingity Miller didn't even play. 13.5-point underdogs all over that. Before kickoff. So we bet 13.5. Was falling all week, right? It started at 9.5. It bumped to 13.5 a couple days later, so we took that. And then it bumped the night of the game, it bumped up to 17.5. Money line went to almost 200. So we took them on the money line at plus 192. Over under for the game was 182.5. I felt like the over was going to hit because we were missing our best defensive player. And because St. Kilda was missing their best player, so I felt like they were going to press more, play just a lot more loose. And I knew that the Suns were, the end of the season, the Suns underperformed all season long, and they were trying to kind of just find a groove towards the end of the season to like have a launch into their next season. So that was another reason I like the over. Well, guess what? All three hit. St. Kilda loses by 23. Didn't even have to sweat this bet at all. Next couple games. So we had the Kangaroos in the Sydney game, and this is when everything happened with the Sydney scandal and stuff like that. Totally decided to pass on it. Carlton, first half. We were on them for the first half. That covered. They ended up winning the game. They were losing at quarter time, by the way, to Fremantle. Fremantle got out to a hot start. And then second quarter happened, game over. Carlton just took control. Another big bet we made. Brisbane. We just needed them to win because if Brisbane won, Brisbane would get the 3 seed. And Brisbane would lock up playing Sydney. Simple. Simple. Easy. Done. Lock it up. Sydney crushed. Or Brisbane crushed and dominated. So take the win. And they were at minus 320. And it was minus 300 when right at kickoff. Or toss up, I should say. Don't be scared to bet things that are minus 300. If you are very confident and you believe in it, why be scared of it? Just because you're not going to make as much? That's a silly reason. You know, I bet enough money to kind of round my thing out. I was like, okay, bet a bigger chunk. If I win, it rounds out, and boom, I got a nice even number. But I'm super confident. I'm not betting minus 300s all the freaking. Nuh-uh. That's not smart. But when there's certain times where it is worth your value to do something like that. So did that, hit, and then we had Melbourne versus this is with the Western where I was talking to you about. Melbourne was 15.5-point favorites against the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs were missing Bontempelli and missing their ruck, who has really good stats the Western has really good stats, really good win percentage whenever he starts. So missing those two guys, people just automatically look at them and they just think, they're not going to win. It's like, okay, you might be right. They may not win, but like, what's the spread? Over what it was 15.5 points. You know that the Bulldogs still have a player on their team just as good as the best player on Melbourne, even though the Bulldogs are missing their best player. Like, so it doesn't matter. And guess what? It didn't freaking matter because the Bulldogs won the game, had a 30% profit boost that I used on it, and we won. And that's another thing we're going to do on this channel. We're going to get these profit boosts because we know that we watch all these shows. We watch Pate, we watch Bussin, we watch McAfee, we watch freaking McShay. We're watching all the guys. We're watching everybody. And we know that they got all these freaking codes and coupons and stuff every weekend. So that's going to be something we're going to do here too. We're going to be like, what are good value bets for my profit bets? And where can I go use my profit boost to get me a dub? Profit boosts don't always need to be like, okay, I'm going to use a $10 bet and we're going to try to win $1,000 off $10. Like, no, man, you don't always have to do that. Take a dub, take a win. Taking win, you never go broke taking a profit. You've heard that before, right? So you ain't going to go broke if you keep picking winners. It just ain't going to happen. So that's what we're gonna focus on. We're gonna try to get these winners. We're gonna try to use our boost in the right spots, on the right thing. Oh, I should be talking. I should be talking here, and not while that thing's going right. So we're gonna find the right lines. We're gonna find the right values for us. You don't have to tail me with what I'm doing. You know, like that. That's probably one of the last things that I want you to do. I care more about, like, this is just my process. This is just how I go about it. And everybody does it their own way and stuff. But I have notebooks. I have a notebook that I freaking use. I'll write down. I can look at it. I didn't even get to the top 25. We didn't even do top 25 according to the freaking according to the books, and compare it to the AP top 25 going into the season and whatnot. So I picked South Carolina, right? South Carolina is actually number 24 best odds to win the national championship this year. Ole Miss, I picked Ole Miss to go pretty far in the playoff too, or to make it to the playoff too. 13th in here. You got people like Oklahoma, Alabama, USC, Michigan. I like Lincoln Riley and stuff like that, but I mean, I went through all these schedules, and some of these, it's just no joke. And if you're not a team like an Ohio State or a Texas, you don't have the talent and the depth and the skill to be able to play game after game against this high level competition, then you're probably not going to unfortunately win double digit games. I'm sorry. And Lincoln Riley, I've heard you got better defensive front. I've heard it. Let's see it. Prove it, like, I'm not scared to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. Prove me wrong. I'm just some random dude on the internet just talking because this is what I want to do. So I want to thank y'all for coming out and hanging out. We went through the college football prediction. We went through our NFL predictions, and we went through our footy predictions for the whole final. So yeah, I don't think we really need to do much more. Let's look at week 0 real quick, maybe, for college football, and hit on that real quick since we're already here. Oh, hold up. Don't do that, Josh, because you got to minimize yourself. Bro. All right, so let's go college football. Let's go week 0 real quick. Holy cannoli. All right, let's just compare them to the lines I already had written down so far. Let's see how much they moved. First games don't start till Saturday. I know FCS starts tomorrow. No, I don't believe any of the FBS games start tomorrow. I believe all FBS games are on Saturday. So, yeah, let's compare. So this game's already moved 2 points in TCU's favor. So it seems like people are jumping on the I hate Bill Belichick, he sucks at college football coaching train. And what's funny is that when I wrote this, I said, take TCU up to 9.5 points. Maybe even 10. TCU is a public favorite at over 90%. And sure enough, the line has moved 2 points in the way that I thought that it was going to go. And I don't think we're going to bet on that game. I don't think I'm going to bet on that game. I just don't see the value in that game. San Jose versus USC, different story here. 38.5 points is what I had. It's now 39.5 points. Over under 60.5, so that's the exact same. The thing that I would look at here, USC team total points over. I wrote if USC's offense is going to score 42 to 52 points. So somewhere in between there needs to be team total over. If you think it's going to go to 52, team props, there it is. Boom. Total points, 49.5. So we're kind of like right on it, basically. So I really don't know if there's much value to be had there, to be honest with you. So I don't think we bet that. I don't think that I might stay away from it. But that's where we were looking. We got NC State versus Virginia. NC State was 5.5 point underdogs. They are now 4 point underdogs. And the over-under was 53.5, now 52.5. NC State has won 6 of 7, including last season, which was Virginia's only conference loss. Virginia won regular season ACC title at 7-1. I said lean NC State plus the points, and it has gone NC State plus the points by 1.5. So I don't know if we'll touch that one or not yet. Jacksonville State, North Dakota State. I did not write this one down, but this, I believe, is North Dakota State's first season in FBS. They're not an FCS school anymore. Jacksonville State has been around. They have, who is their head coach? Their head coach is someone that we know. Can't think of it off the top of my head. Pat McAfee and all of them guys love him and stuff like that. But yeah, man, 7 points in your first college game, FCS game. I know it's not your first college game, and you played FCS teams when you've been an FBS, or you played FBS teams when you were an FCS team. So I get that it's not whatever, but I mean, I'm not betting it. And the line was 7.5 at one point, so it has gone down a half a point. But I would lean taking Jacksonville State plus 7 just because they're getting a touchdown. But by any means, I don't like it. And probably, yeah, I'm not betting it. So far, I'm probably not betting any of these week 0 games based on the line that I am currently dealing with. Not worried about Sacramento State and Eastern Michigan. If you're fans of either of those teams, then that's great. We can talk about them and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm not going to cover specific games like this because they're pretty much inconsequential in the grand scheme of things and stuff. If I do make a bet on a game like that, I will let you guys know, obviously, so that way we can kind of check it out and you can kind of get a feel for it, see if you're vibing with it or not, But so let's go to the next game, Hawaii Stanford. I had it at Hawaii plus 5.5. It's 4 now. Over under was 49.5. It is 48.5 now. Let's see what notes we had here. First thing, I believe I heard, I need to double check this. I wanted to do it before I started the stream, but I didn't. Our boy Andrew Luck, GM for Stanford. I believe the new head coach for Stanford was his backup when he played at Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. Got to double check it, but just throwing that out there. But since 2020, Stanford has been a home favorite 5 times and are 0-5 against the spread. They're 3-2 on the money line, okay? So they've actually won 3 of the games where they've been favorites, but they're 0-5 against the spread. So what that means is that Stanford would win this game, right? But they would only win by 4 or less. So they would probably win by 3, because if it's 4, it would be a push. So they would probably win by 3. So a last second field goal, let's say, or whatever. So that way they win the money line, but they didn't cover. So that's kind of what it's looked like for Stanford when they've been home favorite. They have 0-5 against the spread, 3-2 on the money line. 2 of those wins coming by 1 point. I wrote take Hawaii plus the point. Hawaii returning their quarterback, a redshirt sophomore, with the same head coach that they had last year. Sprinkle the money line. I actually kind of like this pick, and I still kind of like this pick. I understand it was 5.5 a little bit ago, and you were getting it plus 185. It's only plus 160 now. But, I mean, you're still getting 4, so you're still over 3.5. Or, excuse me, you're still over 3. 4 is also a pretty hot number. No, it's not a hot number. 2 is a fucking hot number now, bro. Don't get 2 and 4 confused. You're getting over a field goal. You're getting 4 points. I think you have the better team here. You got the better quarterback. I don't know about coach. Yeah, I still like Hawaii plus 4 and plus 160. But yeah, so I would. That's a line that I would still look at. All right, I think we got 2 more, and then we'll get out of here. New Mexico State at Florida State. 30. It's 30.5 now. It was 31.5, and the over/under was it's 53.5 still. FSU, things to keep an eye on. Mike Norvell is going to be on the hot seat all season long. This game, probably not so much unless we don't we don't want that. Maybe we should call the guy who said he'd eat poop if Florida State loses. Let's see if he's still down. Anyways, Norvell's going to be on the hot seat all year. Their QB the transfer from Auburn, running back transfer from Texas, had 1,000 yards 2 years ago. Returning a 1,000-yard receiver from last season. FSU should win this game, and honestly, they probably should cover 30.5. Am I betting on it? Hell no. I like sometimes you come across teams and certain situations and stuff, and you have to have rules for yourself. Your rules cannot be the same as mine. They can. You can choose to have the same rules, but you have to have your own rules and you have to follow those rules. You can't deviate from those rules because if you do, you're going to find yourself in trouble. And one of those things that I found myself in trouble was like betting on Clemson or thinking Clemson's a good team. So like just be careful getting caught up thinking that you know better when that's not what it's about. Understand the numbers, understand the team, understand the demographic of who's gambling on what and what you think the public going to be focused on and where you think the money coming from, what the sharps are doing, what angles are they taking. This is the stuff we're going to do this. We're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to focus on this stuff. The psychology of all this, that's the stuff that I look at. That's what works for me. Doesn't have to work for you. Maybe you get entertainment out of it. Hopefully you do. That'd be great if people start to like this stuff. But if not, whatever. I'm going to keep doing this because this is what I do anyways. I enjoy this stuff. I enjoy doing this. This is stuff that I'm already doing. I already do anyways. I'm just now taking it to a level where I'm putting it out here and I can share it. So again, I would take Florida State to cover, but not doing it. Last game, Memphis. They were +6. Now they're +4.5 at UNLV. Over under was 57.5. It is now 56.5. Some notes. New Memphis coach Charles Huff is a name to watch. He brought 13 guys on defense from Southern Mississippi. He won a conference title with Marshall a few years ago. And I wrote, look at the under in Memphis +6. So Memphis is now 4.5, and the over/under has moved down to 57.5. So it looked like my initial thinking was on the way the lines have moved, but did not bet any of it. I do not know if I will bet any of it. It's at Allegiant Stadium. That should be fun. But I know come game time or come the day of, I'll probably have some sort of bet. There's going to be a profit boost that I'll probably throw $10 at, or I'll probably do 20 because they'll probably have profit boost on FanDuel and a profit boost on DraftKings. So $10 at each. I'll say this. I'm only going to focus on FanDuel and DraftKings as the two sports books that I look at. And that's mainly because I've used many different sports books, but FanDuel and DraftKings are the two quickest when it comes to money. So I put my money on there. Easy, right? We can put our money on any of these freaking gambling sites, and they'll take our money instantly. But it's how fast do we get our money back? Or do we have to jump in through any hoops to get our money back? And FanDuel and DraftKings, I find the least amount of resistance with that. DraftKings, I've cashed out $500 and received it in under a minute in my account with nothing. FanDuel usually takes a little bit longer. It usually takes a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and stuff like that. But same thing with them. I taken out hundreds of dollars and pretty quickly in my account. Now, I've never put in like $1,000 at a time and stuff like that, but taking out $500 and getting it pretty quick or getting it under a minute, I mean, I feel like you're betting gambling with $1,000 and stuff like that. Same thing. Like it's not really going to be too much for this. So yeah, so those are going to be the two that I focus on because I feel like the user friendly for the thing that the user cares about the most, which is their money. Um, they work the quickest. Totally could be wrong. There's totally be other um, betting sites out there that do better. If there are, let me know. And if you're one of those gambling sites, reach out. Let me know. We'll figure something out. Maybe we can, you know, partner up or whatever. I'm a brand new channel. Let's get this thing. Let's get this thing popping. Um, yeah, I appreciate you guys. Let's see. If, I don't even know if we had any. No, I didn't even see any messages. That's okay. 3 likes, one person watching. That's okay. Don't even care. It's all for me anyway. So, like, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming. Thanks for watching. Even if you're only catching one of my clips or whatever, appreciate you. Love y'all. Have a good night.